thank you so much, Keith, for this time. You're standing right in front of your title, which is perfect. So yeah, this is for volunteers. So if you don't mind talking a bit about your work and about this exhibition specifically.
This exhibition specifically is, I would say, full circle. So in 2017 I was a patient at ADRU, and that is a whole nother story that changed my life after 19 years of being progressively sicker and sicker. I found an art career while I was here through the occupational therapy department, and that led on to, after my discharge from ADRU, joining City Lit College, doing an evening class which led on to a foundation and then a diploma in ceramics, and that's how this came to be. So the work I've done over those 6 years has all combined, and I've been able to bring everything over to Bethlem and have it curated by Amanda and Rena to produce something that I find absolutely breathtaking. I'm happy for people to touch the work, sort of caress them, stroke them, but not lift them up, because that could be potentially dangerous for them as there's sharp edges on the base. But if anybody wants to just look at the piece and smooth over it, that's touching the surface, and that goes back to never being able to touch things in galleries, but also mainly for me, touching things. Before I went to ADRU, I couldn't touch anything, literally anything, and I had all my exposure therapy tasks done here on site, and learned to embrace touching things, not be scared, and that enabled me to touch clay and make. And I think everything about clay is touch. And also the other reason for touch in the surface is the OCD touch, not being able to touch in a gallery, but I feel I've only just touched the surface of what you can do with ceramics, and I've been doing it for years now. So it's an honour to be here, because I want to be able to tell my story, promote the fact that the Bethlem Hospital saved my life with the ADRU unit, and occupational therapy and art gave me a future which I never would have had, that's helped maintain my recovery, and then lead to this, which I'm still absolutely blown away by, and so grateful to everyone that's been involved. So yeah, and if anybody wants to hear more or wants to ask about my journey, I'm always happy to share it. As Sophie probably knows, I never shut up.
Brilliant,
So
thanks very much. Can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
So if anyone asks about these works specifically, because I know, are these the balloon works? So would you mind?
The majority of these are formed around balloons. Even the large square one was formed around a large square helium balloon. And it was a process that I found I could really sculpture works into a way I wanted, forming them around a balloon, and then when the balloons popped and before the clay had hardened and was fired, I could hand manipulate them to get these creases and folds. And then that sort of led into my past life of being folded and creased and sort of constrained, and the air inside, and my life sort of being held under. And then all of these colours bursting out, I looked at as what I called overflowing emotions and a new beginning. And I like using colour, because I think I spent so much of the last 20 years prior to ADRU in darkness that I just wanted colour. So the more colour I can use, the more crazy it looks, and the more less like standard pottery it is, and the more it's like contemporary art is what I'm going for.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks very much. And did you want to say anything about these works that we've called?
Lots of pieces from early on and right up to the present, but I've never been great on the wheel at throwing, so I embraced throwing misshapen shapes. And then right early on at the beginning, I used items bought in charity shops, and either attached them to pieces or dismantled them. And that was a process I went through with my first tutor, about using found items and recycling works, and also turning a work into something that may have looked very pretty into something quite sinister. He also got me involved in using metal, so these are parts of metal copper pipes which are fired in a clay box called a sagger, so you don't destroy the kiln, but all of the green is copper that's leached out of that metal into the clay, so there's no actual glaze on it.
Oh, right, oh, gorgeous.
And then items like this is sort of unique and never be created again, because the glaze on it was from what we have in the studio called the glaze waste pot. So where everyone's finished with their glaze and throw it in, it's all different variations mixed up and just thrown on to see what happens. I did lots and you would only get the occasional great result. And this piece was made with, when I was making my own glazes and mixing chemicals, for example lithium and other sort of methylene cyanide into glazes, and then they would erupt in the kiln. So there's lots of things, lots of variations. These were actually fired around copper scouring pads, so that's why there's the metal remains in the middle.
Oh, okay.
And there's variations on all sorts of things and a lot of experimental work. I don't really stick to the rules, but that's what I enjoy about it.
Brilliant.
And I'd say finally these pieces, these are all made in slip casts. So you make a cast out of clay, you make your own shape. So you make a cast out of plaster.
Yeah.
You make your own shapes, file them down, and then cast liquid clay into them, and this pops out. So this is a unique shape that I created, and then trial different glazes, and these are another cast that I actually used from a form student. So they're mine, and there's lots of them around. And I think in total, between starting college and graduating, so from 2017 to 2023, I made 730 pieces, which were all transferred by lorry to Bethlem, thankfully to them. And this is what we've curated and what Amanda and Rena have chosen as the strongest pieces to show.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Keith.